everyone. Welcome back to the L.A.M.E Book Club podcast. My name is Melissa.
I'm Ellie.
And today we are deep diving Onyx Storm chapters 13 through 18. And I am buckled up, ready to go. I'm so excited. I was going to say something else and I changed my mind. So
what were you going to say?
I don't know. So I wanted to say something like really wild, like, and I am flying out of my pants, but like that doesn't make sense. So I changed it mid-thought, and that's what you got.
Buckled up and ready to go. I love it.
Honestly, I just need to, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory at this point, but I need you guys, everyone, to know, the internet to know, I am never positive what's about to come out of my mouth, unless we're talking theories. Then I'm like, okay, I know what I'm about to say. My reactions to things, every single intro that we do to this episode, we're winging it. It's never planned. But first, before we jump in, thank you for everyone who follow us on social media, who's left reviews. Don't forget to like, subscribe on YouTube, everything. It's at L.A.M.E Book Club Pod across all platforms. And we do have a review of the week this week. Ellie, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. This is from Miss Tony Girl. Love it. It says, from YouTube recap to pro L.A.M.E binger. 5 stars. Listening all the way from Jamaica. I found you guys on YouTube when trying to recap myself for the Onyx Storm release, and not only was I informed, but I also was blown away by how funny you guys were. So relatable and so real. The amount of work you guys put into each episode is absolutely amazing, and you guys have definitely created a safe space for me in the midst of stressful life. This book club is 5 out of 5 stars. Excellent plot, amazing banter, and lovable characters. Would definitely recommend. Thank you.
My
this
heart.
Is the best. I know. Thank you so much, Miss Tony Girl.
That's so sweet. And Jamaica. That's really cool.
I know. Also, I have been to Jamaica. One of my favorite places to go to. Truly beautiful. Really? Beautiful country. Yes. Amazing. Because it's in the Caribbean, so you get the beautiful, like, the waters.
Yeah.
It's a amazing place to visit if you haven't already, or live like Miss Tony Girl.
Love that. Miss Tony Girl. Guys, join Patreon if you haven't already. We have bonus episodes. We have more series episodes. We have behind the scenes content. It is a blast. And we have Patreon shoutouts today. So thank you for joining to Chelsea, Kelsey, and Alicia. I liked how that just rolled off the tongue. That was easy.
It was like, what's that? Nina. What is that? I'm going to mess it up. Mambo number 5. 1.
Oh.
No, is that not the right song? No, it isn't. All right,
that's okay.
I'm clearly not as well versed in music as I am in books.
If you've been here a while, you would know that we have, count them, two merch items, the stickers and the totes, and they are up for grabs at lamebookclubpod.com. So if you want to rep our little podcast and support what we do, please consider purchasing a sticker or tote. That's all we have.
Also, Ellie, August 15th through 17th, we will be in St. Louis, Missouri for Enchanticon. And so we're excited. Very, very excited. Yes. Wow. We are just simpatico today. I love it. Yes, Ellie and I will be at Enchanticon. We're very excited. We'd love to see everyone. Honestly, I am stoked for the ball. I know, Ellie, you keep talking about this like line dance. The ball is where it's at for me.
It's a Puss in Boots line dance, yeah.
I don't think it's not actually called Puss in Boots, so people are going to be very. Is it really?
Yes. Why do you think it's not? Why would I just say that?
Why would I not
call every line dance Puss in Boots?
Okay, is it unsurprising that you would add that to something? It really seems like something you would just call it.
Shrek 2 is my favorite movie. I understand the confusion on your side for someone who deeply knows me, but it really is just called Puss in Boots Line Dance.
All right, well, clearly I need to brush up on my itinerary, but regardless, I'm very excited. We'd love to see everyone there. And I am super excited for like the author panels too, and some of the Q&As that they have planned. So
yes.
If you want to attend, we have a code for you guys, L.A.M.E 15. We'll get you 15% off your tickets, and we hope to see you.
Yeah. Last little thing. Look at this sticker I got. Do you see it? If you're
yes,
not watching.
What does it say on the wings?
It says, I know exactly who you are. And it is a black dragon with a little gold dragon beneath him. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know, I don't know what you're doing on this episode. But
yeah. If you don't know what this means, this is not the episode for you.
This is not the episode for you.
Turn around, watch some other ones.
I got this sticker from this gal in Savannah. She is an illustrator and artist and creates all these bookish stickers. Her name is Kat Johnston, and she has a little website called johnstonillustration.com. We'll link it in our Instagram. But if you're interested in little book stickers, this is the place. They're so cute. So just wanted to plug that. That's all I've got. Ready for the spoiler warning?
I'm so ready for the spoiler warning.
Okay. If you have not read Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, these are maybe not the episodes for you, unless you truly just want to hear our voices, then by all means, welcome. But this is going to be, we're going to spoil all those books. We are also talking everything from chapters 1 through 18 of Onyx Storm today, so all of that is free game. If you don't want any of that spoiled, come back when you've read them. And without further ado, we are ready to begin.
Yes, no more ados. Let's go.
No more ados. Okay, I'm so excited. First of all, we're starting heavy because we have a reveal, a theory, if you will. So before we hop in, we have to talk about something that was brought to my attention over the week by a one Madison Potter on Instagram. And when she said this, I was like, how did we miss this? What?
Is that Harry's daughter?
You're dumb.
Wow, that did not land the way that I wanted it to. Continue.
Landed. She referenced page 92 of Onyx Storm and mentioned the specific part where Theophany tells Violet, sometimes I forget just how short mortal memory can be. And Violet makes a big thing about, like, mortal? How old is she? Okay, so we know she's old. Like, so old. But is she old enough to be the original lightning wielder that was mentioned earlier in the header of those books? Or not the header, but when the student said, there hasn't been a lightning and shadow wielder that walked together since the Great Wars. Is this her?
What if, and this is, I am throwing crap at the wall with this, you guys. This is the first I'm hearing of this theory, FYI. So this is the way my brain works. What if, okay, let's pretend that she is the original lightning wielder. Remember how she says to Violet, like, don't pick Barrowin or whatever that guy's name is? What if he's the original shadow wielder?
Shadow wielder? Interesting.
And there's already some, like, interesting, like, turf war going on between them for some reason. I don't know. Like I said, zero evidence. Throwing crap at the wall to see what sticks here.
I love it. But you know when you say that, you know what that reminds me of?
Like throwing noodles at the wall to see if they're done?
No.
You've never done that?
Close. I have had people tell me to do that, but I refuse. I don't want to wipe up a sticky noodle spot. But when Drake and Josh are at the sushi conveyor belt and they're like throwing sushi on the ceiling.
Get it off the...
Yes.
Oh, yes. And then it starts falling on them.
Intense. I really like that theory. So,
regardless of my little addition to that, there's no way in my mind that this isn't true.
Not it. Right.
Yeah, because of how good RY is at dropping little pieces for us to connect later.
I know. I can't
Except
believe
Madison's ahead of the game and is connecting it now.
Yeah. Thank you, Madison, for saving our butts. So, chapter 13. Per the header, Jacinia has been kicked out of the Adept program due to 3 failed tests in a row and is now under Grady's authority. And for me, I was like, what did we miss? When did this happen? I know. How did this happen?
Me too.
I read that over and over, like, what did I miss?
That her being kicked out of that program within the scribes was not on my bingo card for this book.
No.
Like, I was shocked. Agreed. I mean, same thing. I was like, what did we miss? Like, reading it. I read it a couple times as well. And then I just moved on because I'm like, well, clearly I didn't miss anything and I just need to keep reading and let Rebecca explain it to me when she wants it to be explained.
And immediately she does.
Yes. But so I was like, what?
I know. We kick off the chapter with friendly banter between the gang as they head to the scribe quadrant. They are on their way to see Jasenia. Sawyer blushes when Ree taunts him for his little thing for Jasenia. And on the way, Riddick asks an apparently dumb question based on the response he received, but I took it personally because I had the same question and asked last week, does irid stand for iridescent? So cool. Cool.
Yeah, I forgot that when we did that episode last week, I forgot that you said that you didn't realize that. And so that's hilarious.
Yeah,
you are
like,
Riddick.
Riddick, you idiot. Of course it does. And I was like, oh,
yeah I know.
Riddick, you idiot.
Yeah, who doesn't already know that, dunce?
I know. Everyone notices that when Jasenia walks over to the group, she gets cut off by several second and third year scribes out of spite. So the general rudeness is present in more than just the Riders Quadrant to those who left Biscayeth. They find out that Markham made up the failed test to get back at Jasenia for leaving. However, now under Grady's authority, which is really Violet's, they have unlimited access to Jasenia and the help that she can offer. Loved this. They really need a scribe that's in the library to help out.
Within the fold.
Like a writer is. Yeah.
As one is.
We like the dynamics of strengthening this team. So Jasenia explains that the information she can gather regarding the Isles is limited, but one scribe would have answers that no one else would. Violet's father. And P.S., just so we're all clear, I so do not subscribe to Violet's father still being alive. If that's where anyone is going with this in their head, cut it off. I don't believe in it.
We don't.
What about you?
No, I've never, honestly, let me actually take a couple steps back. I don't 100% remember everything I've ever said on any of our episodes, but don't think I've ever said that I subscribe to it because I really haven't. I was open to the idea of it if that's prior to reading Iron Flame. I was open to the idea of it just in case, because I'm like, this is book one. Who knows where it's headed?
You never know.
But yeah. But then, especially after reading Iron Flame, I'm like, there's just no way. Like, I don't know. And if he did somehow come back, okay. But like, what we're getting so far in this book of him being more of like a guide, like based on like the work that did when he was alive, that is exactly what I was like hoping for from his character. And so, yeah, I also don't think that he's gonna come back. I think what he's giving us exactly what he needs.
The official stance of the L.A.M.E Book Club podcast, he is not coming back. In order to get the information he possessed, though, they need access to Lilith's old quarters, which are now Colonel Atos's. The only way for them to gain access is to get Dain to betray his father, which I personally have no qualms about. Qualms? No, none, not me.
Who said that? Not I.
Not I. 3 days later, Violet is thinking about Xaden in Battle Brief. He is at Samara, and she is worrying. Violet comes to and is staring at the map, and Devera is going over. Then she makes a point to say that she wonders where Queen Mariah's summer house is. And this is exactly what you were saying in the last episode. Coincidence?
I'm awesome.
Why does she keep wondering
I think not.
where this is?
I know. Why are we just randomly bringing up something that was a little seed that was planted by Rebecca? I don't know.
In case you forgot, we were questioning if Queen Mariah's summer house is somewhere in the Isles and that her libraries contain a lot more about the seventh breed because she is with them. Or something similar.
No. That wasn't my theory. No, my theory was, yes, that it's probably, because we don't know where it's at. She just keeps saying, I have a summer home. Okay. And if it's a summer home, then it's got to be somewhere warmer. I mean, it's not, unless, never mind. No, I'm standing on that theory. But my whole thing was, what if it had, because she even said, she's like, I have an impressive library, but I don't have anything for what you're looking for. She knows Violet's looking for a cure. And so she's like, essentially saying like, I have more information than what Takaris has, but not what you're looking for. But the fact that she still brings it up makes me wonder if it's less about the books and more about the location, because she knows the seventh breed is there. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you have it. Devera aids the cadets with how to defeat the Venom for Dummies booklets, and the gang talks about grabbing one for Sawyer. But Cat claps back with, there aren't a lot of one-legged riders, which stopped me in my absolute tracks because do we hate you again? Is this what you're doing? Making an enemy of me? But
making an enemy of me?
She followed up with, how about asking him what he wants? And admittedly, it gave me pause because I, like the gang, have just been assuming that this is what he wants. We did not ask him, didn't think to ask. So maybe we do need to see what Sawyer wants first. And that's like really the first time that this hit me is like, could Sawyer be something other than a rider, but still bonded to his dragon? Like maybe he doesn't fit in the scribe quadrant, but maybe, you know, he finds another niche that he's in love with. His heart eyes for Jacinia, though, do make me question if his path would take him down the scribe route.
I don't know. I just think the fact that you're bonded already, but being a scribe, you would never ride your dragon again. Like,
right.
And I don't think
But he would have a signet and be a scribe, which maybe gives him an edge if anyone ever tried to attack them, that they wouldn't know. I mean,
technically, if we're being honest, that's Violet already. Like, yeah, she's not officially a scribe, but she is.
But she's almost like the opposite of Sawyer, where she's a rider, but secretly
she's
scribe.
A scribe.
He'd be a scribe, but secretly rider.
I guess. I don't know. She's more of like scribe turned writer, and he would be writer turned scribe. But I don't know. I just don't. I think the reason he's so upset too is because that's what he wants. But he hasn't accepted the fact that, I don't know. I don't think he won't ride again. I do like what you brought up of like how his role on their squad might change, and I do think that there's a large possibility that is the case.
Yeah.
But I don't foresee him not being a writer in some capacity.
I'm just curious if he's going to be a way larger part of the story or even future books by stepping away from writing in any capacity. I'm very curious about that because
that's true.
I think we are all assuming he's just going to get back up on that horse, so to speak, and nobody's asked him like maybe he's kind of coming to terms with like, I'm not going to be a writer anymore and I'm okay with that, but I need them to understand that I'm okay with that. And so that's maybe why he's not in a good place right now. But it also very easily could be, I just want to keep writing and I can't now as easily as I once could.
Yeah, I like your thought on that way more than me assuming that he's gonna, being one of those people like you just said, assuming he's getting back on the horse dragon.
Horse dragon.
Yeah, horse dragon. But I think that would add a lot. I'm not Rebecca, and nor do I have foresight to know that's not my signet, to know where this is going. But I love what that could potentially add to the storyline way more than him just like getting a prosthetic and then being able to ride again. Like that adds so much depth.
I think there's depth to him. Yeah.
Yeah. And like how we're starting to get more depth to Riddick in this book. Like maybe next book is Sawyer's depth. Like,
love Riddick.
Yeah.
Love Riddick.
I
just, every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, okay, all of these lines are hitting for me. Last couple books, they were good. They weren't great. But all of his lines now, I'm like, say more things right now. Okay.
More.
Right, whiners don't wear black, which is my new motto. I want this on a mug. This is what Devera says after she assigns 3 new classes to the writers. She then just casually drops that they know a little something more about the Sage and Maven Venin, and it's that they can and do wield signets. She says, you can and should expect to face a dark wielder with the same abilities as your friends, your squad mates, and yourselves. Devera, what do you know that we don't know?
Exactly.
Seems like they were already kind of aware of this counterpart situation that we're seeing.
I haven't decided if I thought that, because Devera's been pretty straightforward ever since they left for Erasia.
She has been, yeah.
I think I think this was more that she was cued into it because Kat told Takaris. And I know that was more about like the shields. I just think that she told him a lot and then he revealed, I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering or whatever, but I felt like that was new information that she had just learned, and just because
very I mean, likely could have been, but I'm just
if
trying
they had
to pick
known
up
that
on every little hint that could possibly come across us so that we'd miss nothing.
That's so fair. But if they did know this, like, she would have already had them doing challenges with Signets in Erasia.
That's true. That's true.
Well, and then that was just like my thought process. So like, because yeah, I understand. Like even if she
But
knew
you're
it
using
before,
you're using our regular day-to-day common sense. These people are so full of secrets, and there's something.
I know.
Everybody just has another secret, and I just spill it. I so overshare. I cannot relate to this.
oh my
Always.
gosh, me neither. I could never. I tell random strangers on the streets my problems. I could never keep a secret of this magnitude. I wouldn't.
Never.
No, I hear you and I agree. Everyone keeps secrets, but Devera, unless she's like secretly a bad, I don't.
She wouldn't. Yeah.
Exactly. And I really don't see that for her character either. She's been super,
especially because they're trying to defeat the venom. It's not like
exactly.
She's still covering
and like they're
everything.
all in danger from them. So and she, yes, I understand. Like pre-revolution, everyone leaving, going to Erasia. Yeah, if she had known then, I would have maybe understood keeping the secret. But if she knew before then, that's where I'm like, I don't see her not sharing that once they were there. And then waiting until they didn't know that they were going to be coming back, but now they're back and now everyone knows. So sure, now I can share it. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
Nope, no sense. We hate this. Get it out of here. She also enforces a no killing your fellow rider rule as they need the numbers now, which like...
Yep.
Cool. Shouldn't that have been a thing since
You'd think
the beginning?
Couldn't they have always used more numbers? I feel like.
Yeah. And she says that they can officially wield during challenges, but don't worry. They're going to have an official professor teaching them how to wield in combat. He's new. He's handsome. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Xaden Ryerson.
Professor Ryerson. Brr, 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 brr.
Oh, and
also,
then it got too real. What?
Also not on my bingo card for this book, but was tell me or let me tell you how immediately excited I got for this. I loved just how I assume white Violet, all the color drained from Violet's face immediately because there are strict codes, and I know we're about to go over this, but the strict codes that you cannot be with a professor while you are and also though, is it me? Am I the problem? But the idea, this is weird, but I love it.
Stop it.
Yes. No. The student professor dynamic.
No.
Only because it was pre-existing. It didn't start as the teacher.
No.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. Let me finish this part. It got too real. Violet remembers Article 8, Section 1 of the Best Guide of Code of Conduct, which I can only assume is students can not bang the professors, which is great. A tale as old as time. Now let's talk about why. Pretty Little Liars. Ezra, Arya. We were in high school together. What are you talking about?
I never watched it. We never watched it together.
We had watch parties with our friend
we did
group
not.
that you were in.
Ellison. No, we did not.
This is crazy talk. I've
never
you weren't
watched
there,
the show.
But I don't know why.
I wasn't. Let's do a little go through your
let me just break it down for you. Let me break it down for you. Arya pretends to be this older girl. I don't know why. I forget. She goes to the bar. She meets Ezra. Then she's in her classroom. It's exactly this. He walks in. Blood drains from her face. She realizes he's her teacher, but they have a pre-existing relationship. Still wrong.
Not pre-existing.
Still gross. But the whole
met
show,
each other once.
The whole show, they like make you as a teenager be like, they should just be together. They're in love. But then as you watch it as an adult, you're just kind of like, it's actually sick what this is.
Yeah. See, that is sick. Here's why what I said is not sick. They didn't have a meet cute for 30 seconds prior to realizing he was her teacher. They had a relationship for months.
Stop. Let me just clarify real quick. This specific instance of story, Xaden and Violet, all for it. Because obviously.
That's what I'm talking about.
Any other dynamic of teacher-student, as you are implying?
No, I'm saying in this scenario, teacher-student, I'm okay with it.
Only this scenario ever.
Yes.
The trope?
No. Yeah, no, I'm saying no to the trope in general, but the trope for them, yes.
Okay. We are agreed. Moving on.
We are agreed. Also, I was going to say, also, he's only still like a year or two older than her.
I know.
So there is
well,
a
and
lot
it's
of
like
reasons it's fine.
They were students together. It's not like
Yes.
he came in Okay, but again, the overall trope, no. This specific situation, yes. Just so we all get our heads
Do the
on
X
straight.
one more time. No. Shut it down. There's my New Girl reference.
Chapter 14. Violet becomes the little dog with its house lit on fire as she says to herself, I'm fine. This is fine.
It's fine.
And that's truly in the
Everything's
book. I can only assume that that's exactly what Rebecca pictured when she wrote those lines into this chapter. Yeah,
well, and how we were talking about in the very beginning of these episodes, like she wrote this with modern language. She wanted it to be easily understood and everything. So knowing that,
she wanted
same
to
thing. When I read this line,
meme.
it's fine, I'm fine. The first thing I thought of was the dog with the drinking coffee in the room on fire, because I guarantee you that's exactly what she was, her inspiration for writing that.
I love that. I love that little dog. Let it be known.
Me too. I use it all the time.
Violet runs to find Dain to ask him if he'd be willing to betray his papa and steal the research from his room. But Dain, similar to us all sometimes, is not catching on to Violet's drift, which it did send me. She basically says, can you get that information? And he responds, you should probably ask him yourself because he's mad at me. And I'm just like dazzled by the way he missed the mark.
I'm not going to lie. I know everyone hates Dain. It's fun to hate. There are just so many other people in this book that I like legitimately like had actual real life hatred for. Mm-hmm. Dain was not one of them. Dain was like the fly that you just kept wanting to swat out of your face for me throughout this entire book. Like even in Fourth Wing when we were like, boo. And then he absolutely, for me, redeemed himself in Iron Flame. Mm-hmm. But this situation, as Ellie once said, did give me pause. I was like, oh no. Is he going to be a little slithery little snake and go back and try and like win back Daddy's affection, as I so specifically said otherwise in a previous episode? Is he going to make me look a fool? I did get concerned when this started, and I just need to clarify. I just need to say that.
My reputation lies on what these characters do next for how I vouched for them.
This
do not make me look a fool.
Whose path has already been written, I just haven't read yet. Is he gonna make me look dumb?
But put all my stakes on him. But he catches on, and before he gets a chance to answer, enter Xaden, ready to talk to Violet about their new sitch. He tells her that he's going to ask for an exemption since they're, like we said, a pre-existing relationship. Grandfathered in, and his post is temporary. But, speak of the devil and he shall appear, Colonel Atos so smugly walks into the room and says, let me save you the embarrassment of having to ask Melgren. Denied. You don't get an exemption.
That's exactly how that's how I hear his voice when I read.
It's because I just channeled him. That's exactly what he did.
You
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
So now they must sneak. And I think it's honestly a really great plot line. To have to like need Xaden to stay within the ward so that he doesn't lose control. Yeah. And he's locked in as a professor because they can't keep sending him out. That's awesome. But now, if he's here, he can't touch Violet. So that's rough.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it, because I see both sides. Yeah.
Dain reappears and offers to walk Violet to class, promising that they'll get the information she needs while Atos Sr. is away at Caldeer next week. And as Violet walks away, didn't add this in my note. As she walks away, she turns and she's like, just FYI, just so you know who to be mad at, direct your anger. I'm the one who killed Varish. And then like hair flips and walks out. Loved it.
Love it. Yep. What a mic drop.
What a mic drop. A week goes by and we find ourselves with Violet and Grady and a few select others in the planning chamber. Grady really rubbed me the wrong way this entire book. I don't know.
He didn't rub me the wrong way. It was the situation. Like he was just, honestly, he's doing his darndest. He is trying his best. Oh.
No.
Because I think we read this book differently.
means having common sense and logic, listening to what the dragons want as well, and kind of taking into all account everything and being like, okay, leadership says this, but are they right? And then following your guts.
No. I mean, yes, but let's take a step back here. We don't know what his dragon is telling him. And yes, we know what Andarna is saying to leadership, but leadership is saying no to Andarna. Grady isn't. Grady is just listening to what leadership is denying. And he's never done anything like this. He's only picking people that wanting to pick people that he trusts. Like I'm just saying I don't agree with it because we're within the fold.
Dragon, it doesn't matter what his dragon's saying. The only being that matters in this equation is Andarna and what she thinks and where her people are, or her dragons are. And so Violet is in this chamber with him, telling him this is what Andarna wants, this is where we should be going, and he's like, no, this is not, that doesn't make sense, we're gonna go the opposite way.
But leadership is telling him
no, they cannot be such simps for leadership, and I stand by that. Although if you ask me anything ever, I've always obeyed the rules, so I don't know. I'm at war with myself.
You of all people should. I'm just saying, I agree with you, and I do think he was hard-headed about certain things, and I do think that there was, and maybe I'm projecting, but some male ego issues going on, with him assuming he's the big strong leader and the boy, and why should I listen to the little girl? But for the most part, he wasn't the one I had an issue with. It was the situation he was put in, because no one knows where these dragons are. Everyone is taking a shot in the dark. Even Andarna, everyone's guessing. No one really knows. So his guess is not as good as everyone else's. But
yes, I see it. I get where you're coming from, but I refuse, because there's more factors. There are more factors that go into this than just leadership says this and Andarna saying this. There's logic. There's the text. I don't know. I digress. Obviously, the book plays out how it will. So they're in the planning chamber. They're figuring out how to chart their course to the Isles. We find out who the final selection for the team is and what their signets are. And we have got an air wielder, agrarian. What? It's like the thing that Lila, I think her name's Lila, is in Sky High. The ones that grow the plants. Yeah.
That grows the plants.
Infantry liaison. Fire wielder, which is Aura, which is not great. Ugh. And Xaden. Things are intense because everybody hates everybody. Grady and the leadership make me want to, I know we just talked about this, but they make me want to pull out every single one of my eyelashes because they're making things so stupid. I'm palpably angry. And it's my own problem. I'm taking it so personally.
Yeah. And I took that personally.
I sure did. Leadership is giving this team 6 months to find the dragons. I don't know if you know, this is the most important possible thing you could ever do right now. You got 6 months.
Well, and honestly, 6 months to me was too much time. I know you just said the opposite. Oh. I would have been you have weeks. They need answers ASAP as possible yesterday. They don't need answers in 6 months.
Look, I think it doesn't matter what leader. I just hate leadership at this point. I really do. It doesn't matter what they want. Obviously, Violet knows time is of the essence. She knows better than anybody knows. And so, but to put a timeline on it, be you only have 6 months. Give them as long as they freaking need, and hopefully they come back within a couple weeks. That's my thought. I don't know. Just putting any timeline on classic. Yeah.
They're having a pee-pee measuring contest with all of this, and they have been the entire time.
They really have been, though. It really is.
At this point, I am truly just, if I let them get to me as much as I would otherwise
it's getting to
normally. Yes. Well, I was, without saying it, yes, that's what I was, I would just be so angry the whole time. So I am just sitting back and being look, leadership thinks that they're in charge. They think they're in control. In the same way, Ato Sr. thinks he's doing all these things, and we're just letting him be okay, that's where I'm at with Melgren, even at this point, and the whole what is scenarium?
Scenarium. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm okay every time they say something, because we all know, Violet has even proven time and time again. They tell her one thing, she does whatever she wants. She went to the ward, the stone, and did her little technological magic on it and fix the problem without asking. Like, she's gonna do whatever she wants.
They still are just like, we need to really rein you in. It's like she obviously has everybody, not just her, not just Orisha, not just Navarre, but everybody's interests at heart. Like she's there for the people, and you're just like, wait, we gotta stop her. Ugh, okay,
they just don't like when people don't fall in line, and she isn't falling in line
because it's a
pee-pee measuring contest.
So they want the team to report back after every mission that they do. What a waste of time, says Xaden, and says
I'm gonna be honest, that one makes sense. I think I would like to know what happens. Okay.
Send a bird with a note. That's what I think.
Send a bird.
Or, I don't know, no, not a dragon. Okay, can't
Send
waste
a pigeon.
resources.
A carrier pigeon.
A pigeon. There it is. And the team is trash garbage made up of people who don't get along. So, okay, there's already the hurdle of like, you have to find the dragons, but also now you have to work with people that you hate. So there's all that to contend with. It's just a hot mess. And I'm like, this choice was so dumb. I cannot get over it. It makes my eye twitch. Also, Mira might be joining, which, as Xaden says, will give the team more balance, but it's still not enough. Grady insists that they fly north to start their search, but Violet has good reason to believe that they should fly south due to the records she saw from General Cadau's journal regarding the Second Crovelin uprising where the Isle Kingdoms might have been involved. And her father's research should back up her suspicion. So they disband, and Violet lingers to get a second with Xaden alone. But guess who's waiting and watching? Miss Aura, the narc.
Waiting and watching. The narc.
The tattle.
Of tails.
That was just a lot. That's just a lot. I need to calm down. I'm an adult. You got to recenter. Important Easter egg to note here as well. Page 126, Xaden is mad, and Violet says the hair rises on the back of her neck. There's a flash of something cold in his eyes, but it's gone with a single blink. So I think we could all chalk this up to like, well, yeah, he's Venom. Maybe he's wanting to channel. But the way she said it, the way it was written, made me think something more. You have thoughts?
I don't know what. I'm with you. I agree. It's one of those things where we will... Like, at the end of the book, you look back and go, she gave us every clue and we didn't see it. But because we're not there, we're not seeing it. Like, I fully believe that it's, yes, like you said, like, oh, cool, we can chalk it up to one thing when really it's actually a sign of something else. I don't know what I think that something else is, but I'm with you. I am putting more stock into this than other people might have and or probably even should, but I'm doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Chapter 15. So we'll lock that one away. Chapter 15. Violet and Xaden are still being kept apart via the Code of Conduct and Watchful Eyes, and we are tormented. Today is the first session of Signet Sparring. I don't know about you. I was so excited to read this.
Dude.
I
love the name of the class, too.
Fly. Yeah.
Signet Sparring. What a good name for this.
For sure. We are introduced to the Sparring Dome, and it is large, in charge, and warded to the nines. Xaden and Violet say their I miss yous in their minds, and Xaden says that he's heard she's been reading with Andarna as a backrest.
I know.
My heart, my little
to keep her
cold
occupied.
Heart.
She's been keeping herself busy like 24/7, and if we all can't relate to that, then I don't know what.
I know. Right off the bat, a third year challenges Xaden's authority, and I was here for it.
Honestly, though,
yes.
I regret the rule that they had put in place that you're not allowed to kill people because they need the bodies. No, truly. This is such a freaking idiot. They went to school with Xaden. They saw Xaden wield and fight, and they sat there and truly was like, who gives you the authority as a... This is like Atos. Atos reincarnated as a third year. Are you seriously about to question his... like the reasoning behind why they made him a professor? Really? Like someone who's that dumb and dense in their mind is not going to be helpful against any enemy. Death immediately deserves it.
Oh my gosh. Well,
so something did get under my skin and I learned what it was just now.
an extreme measure, but one that surely can be justified. I personally love seeing a fresh can of whoop ass opened up. So Lauren, who is the challenger, is a metallurgist and takes out his pointiest swords and daggers. And Xaden doesn't even make a move for his weapons. Xaden disarms him in 0.2 seconds just by flicking his finger, just a little finger bend, and then that guy is down. Lauren is toast. Riddick says to Violet, I'm either completely in love with your boyfriend or terrified of him. And then,
aren't we all
can agree. Yes, we all agree. But then Kat, which again, I'm like, are you trying to make me hate you? But it wasn't. It was good. She says, you can be both. Trust me. Ugh. Don't like that. But then Violet replies, she's not scared of him and he's not her boyfriend. And this took me somewhere. And we have to talk about this.
Where did it take you? Because I still was hung up on Kat saying you can be both, and I hated every second of it because I was under the impression that she never actually thank you. She never actually loved him. She just wanted the power, but now come to find out, wait, pause. She did love him? Like, I understand that's not necessarily her motives for wanting to get back with him, but question mark, was she lying? Anyways, that was me.
I'm curious if that's not more of like, I could have fallen in love with him.
I guess. Like I
was getting there.
It doesn't matter. I don't like it. Anyways, continue with what you were saying.
Either. Okay, so Violet stresses the word, like, he's not my boyfriend. That took me somewhere. Because with this whole code of conduct and all this nonsense, could it be bypassed if they got married? And do you think the book is going to lead us there?
Okay, I'm so glad that that's where your mind took you, because it did not take me there. But if we remember from our previous episode, my mind has already been taken there once because of a comment that Xaden made about how she'd make a great duchess. And that was just pages before we find out that he was reinstated as, or appointed
2 hints
Duke.
Now dropped then. 2 hints.
Exactly. 2, count them, just like our merch items. 2 hints. Another subtle plug.
So that's
just
something.
Kidding.
That's something to think about.
I would love that.
I would love it too. I would love it
which
too.
I don't normally say that, and I think I would love it here.
Okay, one by one, the cadets spar Xaden, and he gets the better of every single one of them. Not even close.
I love him.
He tells everyone in the arena that he isn't there to take them down, but rather to help them find their edge, the same edge that he has. I really liked that. I really liked this, like, I'm not your enemy. I'm here to help you. We're all on the same team mindset.
Know. Yeah.
People doubt the Flyers' lesser magic, but Xaden assures them that the mind work, similar to Kat's, can be just as deadly. The cadets need to work on their shields before facing off against a Flyer or someone wearing a classified patch. Then he pointedly glances at Imogen, and we know Imogen has the signet of memory erasing, right?
Yes.
But this, I would say, was a little nod. I feel like I am confident it was there because we're talking about it more than the book's talking about it. It really hasn't been brought up.
Yeah, but
I'm confident that this is there to remind us that Imogen is someone not to be truffled with, as M. Scott would say, and also that she's got power out the wazoo that most readers may have overlooked up until this point, since she's not really in the story much.
Yeah,
but I just feel like that's a nod. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and I was gonna say, just, I think this is the first time that we are learning that she has a classified signet patch, though, because we are in the brought in. I've said this like 8 times already. I'm going to keep saying it. We've already been brought into the fold in knowing what her signet is, but this reminded me that most people there actually don't.
Yeah,
like, I don't think I realized that. Like, I knew it was like a cool signet and like borderline dangerous one depending on who you are and who has it, but I don't think and maybe it has been mentioned and I just missed it, but I don't think I realized that she had a classified signet patch, meaning that no one else knows what her signet is,
right?
Which is crazy.
It's crazy. And also, we've never seen it in action unless we've been seeing it this whole book, these whole 3 books in action.
Ayo.
Come on now. Okay.
Come on, somebody.
Give me somebody. Sloane gets bested, and Violet notes that she didn't even try. Why? This made me question things, too.
No, I didn't question it because I thought she's still pretty upset with what happened with Violet's mom. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think she doesn't trust her Signet anymore. And I get that. But
interesting. Yeah, that's a good thought.
I was going to say, that was my second thought. My initial thought was, my goodness, this girl has gotten so much help with fighting and she still can't. And then I remembered that it was Signet sparring and not fighting.
There's some story there. Violet also wonders if Sloane is hiding a second Signet too, which I would dare. The answer is yes.
At this point, honestly, I'm fully committed to that concept.
I have something I want to bring up later. It's going to come later, but I have a
Incredible.
thought here.
I'm excited.
Kat is devastated after being beaten out of the woodworks comes Trigger, who says, "Seems like a waste of time to chase someone who doesn't want you when there are plenty of people who do." Okay.
I know. Okay, let's go. Grow a pair. I love it. Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
I like a bold statement. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what? And he's been sweet. We don't get much of him, but what we've gotten, I've appreciated. So. Yeah. Full send. I fully endorse this. Also, I love that his name reminds me of smoked meat.
That's what it is. I feel like we say this a lot in my world. Yeah. It is. It's
Traegers.
Yes. Smoked meat.
You know, some good wood pellets. I was gonna say, I wish he was a writer and had a Signet, and I wish it because I would hope that Rebecca's sense of humor is similar enough to mine to where she would have made it like fire wielding or something.
Yeah.
All right. I'm done.
I wanted to add more to that, but I don't know. I'm drawing up blanks. Now it's Violet's turn to fight Xaden. So here we are, chapter 16. Xaden fills the arena with darkness as he faces Violet. Half of me feels like he's going to use this cover to just make out. But
that's exactly what I was expecting. But then I was like, Xaden, how ballsy. What if it, I don't know. I'm Violet. I'm in this situation. As much as I would want to, I'd be like, what if someone sees? Like, I reading this was stressed because of that.
I didn't know how to feel about it. I just had to read. I just felt a lot of things. So, no, they are really sparring though. So sigh. Do we want to talk about Violet harnessing the power of the sky versus being a lightning wielder? Because I've seen that come up a lot, and now we're going to talk about the Signet here. I've seen it come up this past week, though, that people are like, it seems that everyone's kind of skipping over this. And we haven't necessarily skipped over it, but I'm hesitant to believe that it's the whole entire power of the sky. It's everything. Because people are even saying, like, that includes weather wielding and all of that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Because Rebecca specifically listed lightning wielder in the Signet descriptions for Violet. But maybe I'm just naive, too trusting.
Well, so, yes. And I have, believe you me, I have thought about all of this. And I go back and forth on if I think it really is just lightning or if it truly is like the power of the sky. Just so far it's manifested as lightning, because you're right. Like that would include weather wielding and everything. The other reason I think the reason I'm leaning towards no is because yes, it's specifically listed as lightning wielding, although I could totally see Rebecca saying that because, like, honestly, even to, like, throw people off. And because as far as we know right now, it is just lightning wielding. So it's not lying saying her power is lightning wielding when that's all that we know it is so far. Mm-hmm. But another reason is because of all the, like, drops, like the subtle hints from we've gotten in these, like, chapter headers of lightning wielders and shadow wielders never walking the earth, or it's been years since one has existed at the same time.
Interesting take. Yes, good take.
So I think because of those, that's where I'm like, I don't think so. The one piece of evidence that has made me question that though is when Theophany said when she talked about her dragons and she said the one that gives you the power of the sky or the Irid. And she knows so much more than we know, even. So that's where I'm like, but she knows a lot, and she said power of the sky. She didn't say the one who gives you lightning.
You know what would absolutely make me change my mind on this, outside of just Rebecca writing it, that Violet has more power than what we've seen, but is if Theophany starts wielding more power in the sky.
Yeah, I guess then I would be a lot more open to that.
I'm curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And I guess I'm not closed off to it. I just think that I don't know how sold I am on the power of the sky thing.
Okay. That's our official stances. We don't know. Xaden is coaching Violet on how to find him in the dark. He can wield from all the shadows, but the strongest threads are always his own. I thought that was interesting. I really liked that. This is giving me foreshadow vibes because he says you have to learn the difference for both of our sakes. Malik forbid Violet needing to end up fighting Ven and Xaden at some point and use this lesson to save her own life.
That's exactly what this is setting up.
Yeah. Xaden confirms it in the next line as well because he says that she's the only one capable of killing him. I don't like it, but I like it. I like the plot.
I just don't
like where it's going, you know?
Yes. Okay, I guess I like the way
Hurts
it's progressing
my
the story, but also
want
hate
to
it.
read it.
Hate what it implies.
Yes, exactly. You know, it's a love to hate. Violet and her friends are at the Six Talons pub in Chantara, taking Sawyer out for a night on the town. The Flyers join, and mind you, in the last one, Violet, I don't know if this is important. You should have read the story. Violet strikes the lightning, and then they kind of just end the whole thing. So now we're here at the pub.
The end.
The Flyers join, and everyone is talking about how powerful Xaden is. They specifically talk about how Violet isn't scared of him, and she says, yeah, I'm not scared. Not because my life is tied to him, but because I know that he would just never hurt me. So this also gives scary foreshadow to me, because this conversation happened twice now. Yeah.
More than twice. It's happened so many times, even just in her internal monologue between other people. She is constantly having to defend her safety. Because it happened when Imogen and Bodhi and Garrick wanted her to either, like, the very minimum, sleep in a different bed. Yeah, I mean, they all wanted her to get a different room. But it's happened throughout. We're only chapter, 15, 16 right now? Like,
yeah,
we are not even that far into the book, and it has already been addressed so many times.
It's a main theme.
It's a main theme. Yes, he won't hurt her. He won't hurt her, which tells me that he's going to do exactly that at some point, even unwillingly.
I know.
Unknowingly.
I said that I fear that by the end of this book, Xaden is not only going to hurt her mentally, but even perhaps physically, because he loses control. And what if that happens in front of all of her friends, that she's saying, you know, he will never hurt me, casting the ultimate betrayal blow.
Yes.
Very interesting. Something to think about.
But I think she's so, and I use the word delusional loosely because I don't think it's delusion, but at the same time a little bit. Set on like him being like he would never hurt me, that should that happen, I don't think it's gonna, I think she'll be like, Xaden didn't do this, the Venin did, like Venin in him did this, it was not Xaden, which we all agree, like we know that Xaden in his right mind with his soul would not do that, but
also he is the Venin now.
I like, that's why I'm like, at what point do you accept that this is who he is now? And I don't know if she's ever going to get to that point. We'll see.
Yeah, I would say too hopeful almost, but
yeah,
I'm also too hopeful. We'll keep writing is what we're going to do. Rhiannon brings up the fact that Lynx, whoever that is, and Eric has not manifested yet. Have you ever heard the word Lynx in this entire story? Have you heard that name?
I have. Yes.
Who is he?
I mean, he's not a big part. He's a writer. He's one of the first years. Well, yeah. He's not a big part of it, but he is. He's in their squad.
That's bananas to me. They just throw in names to just see if I'm paying attention is what's happening. I see you, Rebecca. So I hate and love this part of the Empyrean world because it makes me feel it's the equivalent of someone being underwater in movies and you're just kind of like holding your breath with them to see, can I take it as well? Because when the signets don't manifest, they explode. And so I'm stressed.
I know. And honestly, I don't remember. Here's what I think is going to happen. I don't remember them ever saying that. I think they have, but like loosely, like, oh, if you don't manifest, like it's bad for you. Lynx is donezo. Lynx is
you think?
The fact, oh my gosh, yes. The fact that his name has, the fact that they mentioned this means it's going to happen.
Mention him.
And he's hardly, I mean, he has been mentioned, but like even you don't remember it. There's no way Eric is going to explode. Arik,
and we haven't seen it yet, so yeah. Oh yeah, sorry guys. All right, we've gotten the feedback.
We have gotten corrected on that, and that's very fair. It's been it's just easier to say Eric than Arik, but it is Arik, and I apologize. But like, he's not gonna explode from not manifesting. It might come like where he cuts it close. He's not happening. So guess what? There's only 2 people that haven't. Lynx.
And it's gonna be
It was
crewman
nice
number
knowing you,
6.
buddy.
In any movie, in any sci-fi show, when they have a number 6 character, it's like that's the disposable one. They always die. And so there's like a running joke in my family that anyone who's like cut off is like, oh, that's crewman number 6. Bye.
Yeah. So that is Lynx.
That is Lynx. Okay, moving on. The squad talks about the gods, and I'm so curious about their role in the series. These chapters really piqued my interest. So
the gods are going to play a huge role in this book.
Yeah,
no,
Malik
absolutely.
is the god of death, Zinal is luck, Hedian is wisdom, and Amari is the queen of gods. That's who we know so far. My question is, are they physical, tangible beings? Are they real? Could there be descendants?
So
Curious about this.
Oh, I didn't even think about the descendants aspect of it.
And could any of the Venin be?
No, I think if anything,
descendants?
Violet is going to be somehow a descendant
Violet's a
of.
descendant?
She's so powerful. I think she's only going to. Anyway,
She's the main character. Makes sense.
Yeah, obviously. No, potentially descendants. I actually am glad you brought that up because I didn't even consider that. But I do think the reason I think they are actually physical beings is because of like a really subtle reference that was made. I want to even say it was in Fourth Wing, like really early on. When it was early on when Violet and Taryn were newly bonded and they were talking, she kept saying like, Zinal help me, or Malik, you know what I mean? Like kind of like the subtle, like almost one-liners that they all have, like in almost sarcastic even. And Taryn made a comment that like dragons don't, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of like, we don't believe in your gods, essentially. Like we have our own, that's a human thing, like whatever. And so now that they are continuing to be brought up more, I'm wondering if they are actually real, and maybe the Empyrean knew about them, the rest of the dragons didn't. I don't know how I think that plays into it, but I do think that the gods are going to be a huge part of this, and I'm almost wondering if maybe I was wrong about thinking that it's going to be a civil war at the end of this, and more of it's going to be like
like a
war
gods
against the
v
gods,
dragons and humans. Ooh, love it! A little Twilight of the Gods situation, a Ragnarok, if we will.
If you will.
Love that. Okay, so moving on, suddenly Dain walks in and tells Violet privately that he can't get a team into his father's room.
Again, another thing, I'm like, Dain, I vouched for you.
Stop.
You're losing
me. Stop.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So now we have to trust Dain not to use that information to leverage himself a spot back in Aentos Sr.'s good graces. Violet trusts him enough, though, to tell him where the information is in the secret.
I didn't get the vibe that she trusted him enough. Yeah.
Or that she's just desperate. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yes. It's like you have no other choice, and she's choosing to trust him. Not that she's like, you know what, I do trust you enough. You can do this. It was more like she really did not want to let him go by himself, but then she kind of got backed into a corner and realized it's either trust him and pray to Malik or Zinal that he's going to do what he says, or
in my head at this point, screwed. It would have been a huge plot twist for Dain to go back to his daddy and be like, I got you this paperwork. I found this. I really trusted that he was going to be good.
Oh, you had so much more faith in him than I did. I was holding my breath.
Because the only reason that he was ever bad is because he was misled and he was trusting in the wrong people.
That's
now that
so
his eyes
fair.
are open, he's made all the right moves to support the right
That's
team.
fair.
So I didn't doubt him, but I was going to be like, I will throw this book through the freaking wall if he betrays them, because I cannot snap with him again.
Yeah, that's true. I think I just really put I put a lot of stock into, because he also, yes, like you said, he was only trusting the information he knew. He didn't know like the truth, and once he did learn the truth, he walked away from everything. So like that's true.
Yeah.
But before that, he still he desperately craved leadership's approval. And so I was nervous that part of him was gonna, and not just leadership, his father. I just was worried that he was gonna care to almost walk away from
and at that
everything
time,
because of that.
his father wasn't even, disappointed in him. He was so proud of Dain, and he still craved it more than anything. So now that his father is actively saying, you are not my son, I have no son here, whew, the stakes have been raised. So
they have.
Chapter 17, the header, recovered correspondence from Papa Sorrengail to Violet, which basically just says, trust no one. There's a lot of that in this.
I don't know why it absolutely sent me learning that her dad had a first name and he wasn't just Papa Sorrengail. Yeah. Asher was not on any of the lists that I would have assumed. If, let's say we had to give him a name, would not have been that. I don't know why that sent me, but I highlighted it. And again, I am throwing stuff at the wall. For some reason, I feel like the fact that his name was just now revealed, and that I don't know why, again, that it was Asher, but like something about that feels big to me. It probably isn't, but I noted that I tucked that back in a little box.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, it is the first time I think we were shown his first name, and I do remember I read it maybe 2 or 3 times, and I was like, "Who the freak is Asher Sorrengail?" And then I moved on, and then I went back, and I'm like, "That's the dad." Surely I just missed something. But
surely,
yeah, you bringing that up, that is the first time. That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why I stopped.
Reading that, it like sent me for some reason, and it's probably nothing. But what if it isn't? I don't know what it could be.
Seems intentional to drop his name for the first time in the middle.
That's more what I'm thinking.
Book.
And my initial thought was like, if knowing that his name was Asher, I guess. I was like, did that have any bearing behind Brennan using the name Aserai as his like fake name all those years? But I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But like maybe I don't know. But I don't know. I just was like you said, it just felt intentional for us to like never have known it and then just drop it randomly without any explanation. Like one day, one chapter.
Well, let's hold on to that nugget and see if it ever comes back in. The next day, Violet and Sloane break off to talk. It is a very tender moment of much needed conversation where Violet reassures Sloane that she's not mad. She understands the sacrifice her mother made and that Sloane was just a tool in it and it's not her fault. Since Sloane is on archives duty, she was able to give Violet a bag of tomes given to her from Jacinia, and one of the tomes was given to Jacinia from Leadership, aka Dain. So he did it. He got the book,
pulled through.
Gave her the information. We're good. I'm still feeling good about the redemption arc. I feel good.
Oh yes, I could finally like I let loose a breath, and Dain is back in my good graces.
Violet goes back to her room to take a look at the book of research her dad left for her, except it's never this easy, guys. It's flipping guarded with self-destruct mechanisms.
Of course it is.
A lock with room for 6 letters. And the key that he has left says, first love is irreplaceable. And am I crazy, or did we all, maybe just me, jump to her first love was Halden, I'm sure, so it's Halden, 6 letters, it works. But I'm certain that's
well, my first thought was Lilith because it's his book,
his
but then
first love.
Also immediately I was like, that's way too obvious. And Violet almost right after that says it can't be. Like, he wants people to think it's Lilith so that they because this was for Violet, like.
And then after I thought Halden, I was like, no, because he actually indeed was replaceable. So that's couldn't be it. So then that made me question who else has first loves? Brennan possibly was his first love. Naolin, also 6 letters.
I didn't go that far. I was thinking, well, I didn't know. I was thinking like her dad couldn't have had a dragon because he was a scribe, so he didn't. Yeah. It couldn't have been his name. And I will say, like, because spoiler, we do find out in this like end of this chapter, it did cross my mind that it could have been her mom's dragon's name.
Yeah, mine too.
But I
didn't remember what the name was.
Dragon was. Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't remember.
So I was like,
so then I was like, well, but I can't count the can't letters.
So true. I love that. Our minds are too similar, I fear.
Well, but then I was also like, there's no way that seems too obvious too, because I'm so bad at riddles. I'm so bad at riddles that I'm like, it has to be something that I would never have thought of. So I'm like, anything I've thought of immediately is wrong.
It really is a Princess Bride thing. Like, certainly you can't choose the one in front of me because it's too easy. So you have to choose the one in front of you. That's how I was like,
yes,
it's too easy, then it's too hard. It's the most medium one, I think. But it wasn't.
Again,
it was.
But okay. I treat every riddle like the wine situation. It doesn't matter how high the stakes are. That is how I approach it.
That's so true. So let's discuss the rune theory that I've been seeing around. And I don't know if this comes up later in the book. Again, I've only read to 18, so who's to say? But you know how we've talked about the rune on Brennan's hand possibly being a sign that he's being controlled by Naelin or some venom? I've also heard a theory that the rune on his hand is keeping him protected from being found by a certain venom that could be Naelin.
Interesting, but why do we think that is? Is there more on the theory on where he got the scar then? Not from Naelin, or was Naelin? Okay,
I have no idea. All I know is exactly what I said.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, nice. All right. I mean, I think that deserves to be said. I don't like that. I like him being bad more. So that's what I'm going to stick with.
I like the plot. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone is now in the Devil's Danger Dome, and we are Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Dimmadome. The Devil's Dimmadome.
And we are watching Riders v. Riders. Violet's squad is up against Garrick, and there's a near miss involving air, ice, and Violet's head. Xaden gives Garrick the death glare, and Violet again notices the cold edge in his eyes. What is it?
It's the venom.
I have to know.
It has to be the venom.
It has to be, but why would... She's just so she's singling the cold look in his eyes, and I just really feel like it's not just the venom. I just feel like it's something else. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm too suspicious. I'm too on edge right now. I'm so paranoid.
I'm only
like drawing the strings.
Suspicious. That's why I'm not. Yeah, you're not Charlie doing all of the the plotting.
Anyways, so the epic battle scene ends with Violet channeling her lightning and striking true, proving that she could end it all in one fell swoop. But of course, she did not hurt anyone. Which love that. Love my girl.
Yeah.
A slow clap. A slow clap starts from the stand. This was my favorite. I couldn't.
I loved everything about this. No, I loved it. Keep going. This was the best.
And this is where everything gets turned up on a level on the juicy drama meter. Violet tells Xaden, help Arik hide. And Xaden, without one question, says, done. Love that. That's the response I'm here for. I love it.
Yep.
Then, His Royal Highness Prince Halden has officially entered the chat. Turns out, Anna Windshire, one of the guards on the quest squad, is actually a placeholder for Halden because he is coming. And he is now here. Moreover, we are reminded that Xaden is the reason Halden's twin is dead. So bad blood is going to extend for more reasons than just he's Violet's ex. Violet and Halden...
We learned in this conversation, though, that Halden doesn't know
he doesn't
it
know.
Was Xaden.
Yeah.
But which makes me wonder, though, how Arik knew. Arik. Dang it.
Well, Arik was also clued in on the venom before anybody else, so it seems like he just kind of does more research.
No, Halden knows. That's like a princely thing.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm like, am I amazing? Did I figure out a plot hole in this? Probably not, but
that's something to think about.
Arik came in hating Xaden because he knew that he killed his brother, but how the frickety frack does Halden not know if Arik did?
Maybe,
especially considering he is next in line. Like, you would think he would be more privy to information than Arik.
That's too big.
I digress.
To be a plot hole. That's too big. Something's
you know what?
Up.
It's something we are boxing that away. It will be revealed to us in time, I'm sure.
The boxes are being stacked in my mind, let me tell you what.
So many boxes.
So Violet and Halden start throwing jabs, and one of Violet's lands when she says that she won't compliment Halden's new haircut because the only hair she remembers is the color of the professor's hair that was having sex with him while Violet and Halden were together, to which I gently reply,
nasty.
Damn.
That was incredible.
Thank you. Halden hands Violet a note from Takaris that says he will allow her to explore his libraries in exchange for the Emilian Citrine, which is a lesser magic amplifier. She is stern on telling him her love for Xaden, even though they are not technically together. Then Halden says something oh so interesting. He says he knows a rider's first love is their dragon. Which, boom.
There it is.
Now we have the answer for the lock, and so does Violet.
Yep.
She's clued in. We've got it. But then
She got
Halden
everything
goes a
she
little
needed
bit
from him.
he goes a little bit too far and tries to touch Violet, but before his hands meet anything tangible, shadows blast him into a rock wall. Here for it. Love it. Love to see it.
I know I said this about Theophany in the last episode, like her getting picked up by the wyvern as like a rag doll, but maybe I just have a thing about rag dolls. I, once again, imagined him being splattered against the wall, just like a rag doll, and like just laying there like so just dunzo. Just take me out. I'm hurt. Ouchie. Like,
ouchie. So this leaves chapter 18, our last chapter of the day. Anna, Halden's guard, runs to him, and she's like, my baby boy prince, are you okay? A little more friendly than a usual guard should be.
And should we not be, and remember what color her hair is?
Auburn. He has a type.
Interesting. Yes.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Xaden gives Halden the lowdown on exactly who he is to Violet. Halden doesn't arrest Xaden, but he looks vengeful. Later,
I was kicking and screaming when Xaden was telling Halden to his face exactly like how this was gonna work and who Violet was and who he is and like all that. I just giggling, you guys. Schoolgirl level crush.
Same.
Like.
Oh my gosh, this is what the readers want, Rebecca.
I highlighted. I was by myself. It was the best. It was everything I wanted from that conversation and more.
And more. Okay, Violet and Rhee are sitting with, I was going to say Papa Sorrengail's, but now we can say Asher Sorrengail's book.
No, he's still Papa.
He's still
Ew.
Papa. Okay. And dialing Amesir. Yeah,
that's what I
into
said.
the lock. I think I've been saying Amesmere this whole time, and then I just realized that's not 6 letters, and I need to get it. I need to lock in. So,
Amesmere sounds like a
Amesmere.
like a fancy cream cheese for a bagel, because it sounds like schmear. Amesmere.
Ew. I hate that word actually. Okay.
All right. So now Amesir.
They dial Amesir into the lock. It works. Which, again, I personally felt like was too easy, but c'est la vie. I'm not the writer. Not my monkeys, not my circus. Also,
oh my gosh.
I read this meme, where this person is pouring bacon grease down the drain of their Airbnb as they say, not my monkeys, not my circus.
That's terrible.
It is, but I
that
love it.
That makes me never want to rent out my house.
Yeah.
No.
They thank Zinel, and Rhee says the thanks should be attributed to Hedion. So again, luck
More
versus
gods.
wisdom. So again, we're bringing up the gods. There's something here. This is too many times now, in my opinion. 2 is too many. The book immediately starts, Dear Violet. I screamed. Because he knew it would be her. I screamed. I loved it. So Papa Sorrengail goes on to say that if he is DED and the time is of the essence, and that time is of the essence.
Did you spell it DED?
You don't do that? DED.
I just wanted to make sure you did that on purpose.
It's on purpose.
Okay.
I went to college.
How embarrassing if we have a book podcast and can't spell a 4-letter word.
Oh, don't I know it. But also, have you seen the video where the mayor of, I think, Philadelphia is spelling Go Eagles, and she's like, ELGLAES.
No, that's not that is not true. There's no way that happened.
I watched it.
Oh no.
Loved it. So anyways,
that's embarrassing for her.
He's DED dead, and time is of the essence. Violet needs to flee to Deverelli, where she'll be safe beyond the reach of magic there. What? What do you mean
What?
beyond the reach of magic there? Magic ends here. I'm so confused.
No, Magickin's there.
I know. I'm very confused on the borders and the magic, but maybe that's a me problem. Maybe you know more.
You just keep reading. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, that's fair. They have to find Narelle Anselm, a merchant. She's supposed to take the rarest item to Narelle to make sure that she gives Violet what she needs. And then finally, trust only Mira. I really liked that, but I also, again, here comes the trust aspect. Someone is going to betray them. All of this trust talk, someone close is going to betray them. Mark my words.
I kid you not. When I read that, it said trust only Mira. I was like, the dad knows I'm right. Brennan is evil. But then I was like, oh wait, he thought Brennan was dead.
Being dead, yeah.
Like,
which gave me
oh crap,
a mental picture of him just like showing up to heaven, looking around and being like, what? Because Brennan is not there.
Where is he? Oh man.
Okay. So, and Darna and Tairn, who are appearing for the first time in all of these 6 chapters, I was having withdrawals, are convinced
I kind of forgot.
Need to, yeah.
I feel like I've gotten enough story that I didn't even realize the dragons weren't there.
I felt it. Like I felt it in a corner of my heart. Like there's something missing. And then when they appeared, I'm like, they're missing. What's missing.
The piece.
So they're convinced that they need to break away from the quest squad to head to Deverelli. They're interrupted, though, their little head chat, when Violet hears a knock, and it's Xaden. He locks the door behind him and demands that Violet tell him if she was ever in love with Halden. This next part
I love this so much.
My eyes were twitching because I'm suspicious. Wait. Before we go into him being jealous.
Anything.
Before we go into him being jealous, this is what I'm getting chills because something's here. I might just be way too conspiracy at this point, but something's here. She says, we were together years ago. And Xaden says, yeah, I picked up on that. I picked up on a lot of things he was thinking. What? And then the book says, from the perspective of Violet, I blink. That's not how you're Signet. And then Xaden interrupts her. Something's there.
I know.
I'm getting chills.
So I can't remember if I said this on our podcast or just in life, but I don't think I did. I think this was something that I just like mentally like had a thought and like wrote it down and then forgot to say something or just didn't. Because I am so convinced that
wait, we're gonna say the same thing.
Probably,
this is about the
but
second
that all
Signet for all of the
yeah. Does that mean he has 3? Signets?
I think that means he has 3. I wrote down, I think that the third one I said in my stupid, but is a third Signet possibility because he also had that relative ancestral Signet situation. So, but if everyone was given 2 already,
then he would have gotten a third because of the ancestral thing. Yeah.
And is he just a true intrinsic? Like a pure, I can read your thoughts? And is that why she's getting the dreams as well? Like there's something else. There's something here.
I wondered that already. I wondered that before this conversation even happened when it was confirmed that Garrick has 2 signets, and then because I already had the theory on the marked ones having more than one, and so I felt like that confirmed it for me. I also feel like, and I touched on this in our very first episode, I feel like it was already revealed that Bodhi has a second signet, and I think his is like the awards, same as Mira's. Because when they were this was in like chapter 2 or something, when they were in visiting Sawyer, he threw up like the reason I think it's because the way it was described, it was like a blue lined sound shield or something. And I looked into this. That is not a lesser magic, and it was described exactly the same way as Mira's wards were when they were in.
I love that you're bringing this up because I wrote something in the notes and then I deleted it because I thought to myself, no, I'm picking up on nothing, and I fear that Melissa's just going to be like, no, that's not what that is. So I literally deleted it, but I had the almost same exact thing, and it's outside of this example. There's another one. Violet is wanting to talk to Dain, and she says, Bodhi, you can be part of this conversation. I need to talk to him privately. So Bodhi turns his back to them, and I was like, what? That's really curious, but it's like he almost turned his back, and it kind of hinted that like the sound was now just with them. So I questioned, is he throwing up a ward?
Yeah, so And well, so that, but it was the way it was described was exactly the same way that Mira's was described when the Mira, Brennan, and Violet were fighting the Venom in I can't remember the name when they were in where Takara's is, Corden or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But in Iron Flame, when that was happening,
Yeah.
and then also even earlier or later on in this book when Mira throws up, again, it's the same. It's the blue, the coloring is all the same.
Describe it the same. Yeah.
Yeah, and so all of that has confirmed to me in my mind that all the marked ones have a second signet, if not all of them, like a good majority of them. And so then I'm like, oh shoot, Xaden would have gotten one from that as well. And like you said, we've already confirmed that he has the ancestral connection because his grandpa had Sigale. And so I love and at this point, nothing is on the table because they're like, oh, Violet bonded 2 dragons. Like, you can't do that. It's like, well, it happened. And then so we're like, oh, she's going to have 2 signets. And then we learn that Xaden has 2 signets. Like, nothing is off the table. 3 signets, while it might seem crazy, not off the table.
Would explain so much, though, because, like, he always knows too much. And it's more than I can read the, like, intentions of someone, whatever the vibes. But I really think that this is not just like wait, what does he mean? Okay, we're moving on. It's so classic Rebecca to drop half of a hint in there and then have someone interrupt. And I really think that this points to 3 signets. And I was losing my mind. So, last part of this little summary, it turns out all it took to break Xaden over the edge and into the realm of rule-breaking professor was a little jealousy. He and Violet share some steamy moments, and I'm really downplaying that because the butterflies I am getting from Xaden Ryerson and his devotion to Violet in this entire book, my gosh. But
nothing compares.
Nothing compares. Then they get to talking about the need to go to Devreli, but first to Enka to retrieve the artifact for the king of Devreli. They then agree to leave as soon as possible. And that is where we end today.
Oh man, buckle up, Buttercup. This is...
Strap into your dragon's car seat because we are flying.
Because we are on our way, you guys. This book is so good. I love it. I just am so obsessed with all of this, like the hints that are being dropped and what that means, and all of the boxes that we're having to put things in and wait for them to be explained.
Yes, it's crazy. It's craziness.
What did I say on the last episode? It's chef's kiss. It is chef's kiss. Okay, someone commented, they're like, you need to make the chef's kiss sticker ? And if that's not our next sticker, I don't know what will be.
I just don't. Okay, we have to talk about that offline. Yes, I love that idea.
I know this is not official. This is me spitballing in real time.
So, prior to ending, we have a little surprise for you guys if you stuck around. Switching gears here, we're going to jump into a little ACOTAR for a second. Remember how we said we're going to start doing some short author interviews so that you can all see what else is out there, so you might, books you might not have otherwise heard of. Well, we have a
guess what?
very special author interview for you today, so hold on to your butts. Listeners and lamos, I am honored to introduce you to the brilliant Chelsea Cole, who is the author of A Feast of Thorns and Roses, an ACOTAR-themed freaking cookbook.
It's a cookbook. It is so... You guys, just wait. I'm so excited for you to listen to this interview we have with her.
Okay, hi again, everyone. We are here with Chelsea Cole, the creator of A Feast of Thorns and Roses. Chelsea, hi.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much.
We're so excited to have you here. Do you want to just jump in and tell us about the cookbook, what got you started, all the details?
Yeah, so I am a food blogger. I live outside of Portland, Oregon. I've lived in Oregon my whole life. It's funny, before diving into this, I actually primarily blogged and had written 2 previous cookbooks about sous vide cooking, which is probably the furthest thing in the world from this. But I love your reaction right now. That makes me so excited.
Well, it's because I, not too long ago, learned that about sous vide, just in general, like how, and also that my favorite egg bites from Starbucks are sous vide cooked. I don't
Yeah.
know how to say that, but yes. So I'm new to sous vide, which is why it's fascinating to me.
Yes, it is super fun. I make sous vide egg bites for my son and I. He's 1.5 every week.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, he loves them. But so if you need to learn about sous vide, I've got some resources for that too.
Incredible.
And I had thought that was my path. That's been my niche for a really long time. And then a couple years ago, I had just finished my first reread
Yes.
of the ACOTAR series. I think that
Uh-huh.
so many of us have a really similar story around A Court of Thorns and Roses. I had been like a big reader in my early 20s, like when I was younger and as a teenager, but had kind of fallen off. I read a lot of thriller type books, like mostly just listened, but wasn't like super into reading. And then I discovered A Court of Thorns and Roses. I want to say I read it for the first time in like 2021 or so. And totally fell in love with it. Took me back to like the days of Twilight, Hunger Games, all that stuff. And just like being really, really into a book series like that.
Yep.
And I just hadn't felt that way in so long. So totally fell like head over heels in love with it. And then I did, I guess actually maybe it was like my third reread by this point. Did a reread like while my mom and I went to Italy a few years ago, and that was so fun. And then I had just finished a reread. I was scrolling on social media on like a Friday night, as one does, and I saw my cousin post about the Sims cookbook, and I was like, what is this? Like, what? Like the Sims computer game? Yes, it was the Sims computer game, and was like so confused. And so I did a deep dive and learned about fan cookbooks. I didn't really know that they were a really big thing before this. There's a fan cookbook for almost everything.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so I'm like scrolling through these different fan cookbooks, and I notice there isn't one for ACOTAR, and I'm like, that's a problem. Like
That is a huge problem.
Yeah, like somebody needs to solve that problem. Apparently, that person is going to be me.
I love it.
So
Love the mindset. Yes.
it's like this book needs to exist. Sure, it's completely different from everything I've done before, but it just like has to happen. And so my previous cookbooks are self-published, and this one I was like, it's a whole other spiel. I actually teach self-publishing to food bloggers, so that's like a whole other thing. But I had reasons where I was like, this book needs to be traditionally published, largely for like distribution purposes, because people just need to see it and they're going to know what it is and they're going to be really excited.
Yes.
So I was like, I want this to be in front of as many people as possible. And I shot an email to a literary agent that I was like a mutual friend, more of an acquaintance. We'd like known each other professionally. And that's not how you're supposed to approach a literary agent. That is not, there's like a proper way to do this. I did not. I was like late on a Friday night and I was like, this weird idea. What do you think? Like, that's not the right way.
Amazing.
But luckily she was like, that's a brilliant idea. I know the publishing house for this. I know the editor. Let's do this. And it happened really fast. Yeah, I was actually 6 months pregnant when I started this process. I signed the book deal with my first. I was 8 months pregnant when I signed the deal, and the manuscript was due when he was 6 months old. So I got to write this with my newborn in tow. So it was,
I love that.
It was quite the adventure.
Deeply understand what a task that is. I have two kids, so
okay, I'm pregnant with my
quite
second.
literally.
So,
Oh, congratulations!
Congratulations!
Thank you. Yeah, it was a whirlwind, but it was really fun. The book's actually dedicated to him. My sweet little guy. But yeah, so that's essentially like the background behind it. It was so fun to write. I will say, like, I've previously written 2 other cookbooks. It's really hard to write a cookbook in general.
Yeah.
This was, it's hard to say, like, I don't know if harder is the right word, but it was so much more intense than the other books I've written, because you're not just developing recipes and trying to make sure the recipes are good. You're also creating recipes that are like reflective of characters and places. And and then like also I think you'll understand this like immense pressure because the fan base is so big and has so many feelings. And I was like, I really want to do
so many feelings. Yes.
I like joined every related Facebook group I could find and like Reddit thread and was like just like deep in it.
Yeah.
Just like, okay, what do people think about this? Like, am I going like developing a signature cocktail? So there's in the book, there's a signature cocktail for each member of the inner circle. And that was like really scary.
Stop it right now.
That is incredible.
Yeah, I will tell you my favorite one is a riff on a Long Island iced tea for Cassian. It just felt very appropriate.
That seems so fitting. Yes.
It sure does.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So like stuff like that, like I obsessed over almost like some of the stuff was easy because it was like, you know, how many times do they eat roast chicken? I'm like, cool, definitely gonna have a roast chicken.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so there's a lot of like low-hanging fruit like that, but then I also did a dessert. There's actually 2 dessert sections. One is like small bites that are mentioned throughout the series, and then the other one is there's a dessert, like a really kind of like bigger dessert for each court. And so that was really hard.
That's fun. Yes, I can only imagine how difficult that would be, but that is so fun.
Yeah. And so like, because we know a lot about some of the courts, but we don't like the Dawn court. I was like, I don't have a lot to go off of here, you know? And so that was a struggle, but actually ended up being one of my favorite recipes. It's an orange tiramisu, which is really yummy. I highly recommend making it.
Oh my God. Well, I will be making everything in this book. I cannot wait.
Yeah, honestly. Yes.
But yeah, anyways, there's kind of like the background and more behind it.
That is incredible. Oh my gosh.
I have to know the chapter 54 of A Court of Mist and Fury, the stew. Is that that recipe in there?
Of course.
The Campbell's soup, you mean?
Yes. And so this, I also, like, I can't tell you how much I obsessed over this because we know it's a soup and we know it's supposed to have like a canned soup heat and eat vibe, right? It's not like technically called a canned soup in there, but you know that's like what we're going for.
Yeah.
And so I'll actually, so I'll give you a little sneak peek behind my process on this one. Because I pulled all of my friends and family who had read the book and I'm like, what did you picture for this? And a few people said tomato. What was another common one? There was one that was like beef and vegetable, a few people said.
Yeah,
but
that's what I picture.
Okay, there you go. So the most common one was chicken noodle.
I was going to say, I was a chicken noodle girly. I don't know.
Yeah, so the most common one was chicken noodle. And I was like, okay, but I don't want it to just be a chicken noodle soup. So I actually did, this is a canned soup, but it's less common, chicken and stars. Because stars.
That is fitting.
Is that not so fitting? Oh my word.
So you get these like they're so cute, teeny tiny star-shaped pasta. You can get it on Amazon or you can like find it in grocery stores. And it's like the perfect little noodle in there. So yeah, that one was really fun.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh,
love that.
I love that.
I cannot wait to make chicken and stars.
I know, it's so fun.
Okay, and also
That's
this is
so incredible.
Just off the cuff, is there, and without giving away too much, I understand, like, we want people to buy this. I don't want you to, like, give everything away. Is there a reference to goat's blood in here at all with Amren?
Yes. Okay. So definitely. So there's blood references. I'll say that.
Incredible.
Yep.
Love it. Okay.
Let's just say maybe her cocktail, you know.
That's what I was, okay. That's where I was going with that.
Yes.
I get you.
I feel a certain way. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm so excited to try these. I can't even tell you. This might be the most excited I've ever been for.
Yay. I'm so glad.
This podcast.
Oh my word.
Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, well, I have a final question. Do you have a favorite recipe in the Feast of Thorns and Roses?
So I've been asked this before. It's kind of hard to pick. I'll say for the moment, the one that I like, that I keep making, well, okay, I'm going to say 2. Sorry, I have to say 2.
Please.
Say as many as you want. My mouth is watering already, so.
Great. One is in the book it's called Savanda's spice stew. So when they all go to the restaurant in Valaris for the first time,
exactly.
And it's like the heavily spiced meals. So again, like they don't really get specific on the food there, so I had to get creative. And so it's a spiced, it's a vegetarian chickpea and sweet potato stew, and it's just like really warm and comforting. I probably say that because it's winter now, so I've been making it a lot.
True.
It's just like it's very rich and like nourishing, and I love that one. And then I also love. I did a recipe for Farrah's dad, and it's a spiced chicken pot pie, essentially.
The spices.
Okay.
It doesn't see
because he's the Spice King.
Yes. Well, he trades. He's a merchant, and we don't have a ton of details about it. But I'm like, I bet he trades spices. You know, we're just gonna say he trades spices. And
we're close with Nicole and Lexi from Fantasy Fangirls, and so her spice theory, like, I love
her brain
it.
kind of exploded when I told her about that one. So.
I love that.
Yeah. And so that one is really yummy. It's like, yeah, it's not super hard to make. You just buy I tried to make all the recipes in the book incredibly easy to make.
Perfect.
Because I knew everybody who buys this is not going to be like a cook. And so if there's an opportunity to like take a shortcut, I tell you. So
Love
I'm
it.
like, oh, you want to make this? You can just use box cake mix and I won't tell. Or like, use the store-bought pie crust. Like, it's still going to be really yummy. Just don't shortcut this part or something like that. So I tried to make it really approachable in that way because I don't want people to
That's awesome.
There are some recipes with like weird ingredients, but they aren't necessarily hard to make. Like, there is a recipe that has bone marrow.
Hey.
Which
Love
just,
it.
felt appropriate. But it's still easy to make. So
That's incredible.
So excited.
I am here for the shortcuts. I am not a chef, as much as I would love to be. That is just an area I don't understand. I can follow a recipe to the T, and I'm like, this is not. I cannot imagine this is what it's supposed to taste like. This cannot be true.
hopefully these will be easy enough.
Well, and it sounds like this is my kind of cookbook because it sounds easier.
And all like the tips and tricks. This was like another one of my favorite little things throughout the book. They're called Advice from Alice. So
I love that.
Stop it right now. Say
they're
no
all
more.
witten in Alice's voice.
This is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
I really tried to have like a lot of detail crammed in here from the series. And even so, another like little feature, which just reminded me, at the end, there's a there's a section of party ideas. So I give you like themed party ideas. Yeah. And I made up games for almost all of them. So
this is not just a cookbook. This is like a life map.
This is a lifestyle for me now.
Yes. This is my new, like...
It's bringing everything to life.
Yeah. And, if you just need an excuse to throw a party, now you've got one. So...
I don't even need an excuse. This is like... We have a plan, you guys. This isn't even... We have everything we need. There is no more excuses. Mm-hmm. This is the plan.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
We know what we're gonna have. We know all the food, all the drinks. There is no more... It's set.
You just have to cook it.
We're set.
Wish I could do that for you, but
Yes. It's fine. I'll have someone else
Chelsea.
do it.
There you go.
We needed this to be a reality for all of us.
Yes.
And
I did not realize how much I needed this in my life. This is
good. I'm so excited.
15 out of 10. I cannot wait.
Oh my gosh.
And then you mentioned Barnes & Noble is doing an exclusive of this, correct?
Yes. I'm so excited about that too. There's so many, it's funny when you have an idea like this, like I'm like, I think this is a good idea, but it's incredibly like validating and fun when other people are like, this is a good idea. And I'm like, yes. And so Barnes & Noble was on board and really excited. And so they are doing an exclusive edition. It's going to have a really gorgeous cover. I haven't seen it myself yet. I can't wait to see it.
So excited.
But it's going to be, it's going to have cloth and foil and it's going to be really pretty. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. Well, I will be first in line to get it release day.
Yeah.
And it's got 5 exclusive recipes and like a special menu that's set around the idea of Farah and Reese having a date night along the Sidra. So, yes.
Chelsea, you are doing it right. You
are.
Little genius.
Thank you.
My heart, I cannot handle. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
oh my
I'm
gosh.
so glad to hear that. You just never because it's all these things are in my head and I'm doing it alone and I'm like, please let people like this.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh. People are not going to just like this.
Like it.
Yes. Yeah. Love it. So as I'm sure everyone else is like us, just chomping at the bit. When will it be released? When can everyone go and get this?
Yes, so it's available for pre-order pretty much anywhere you buy books now. A lot of like local bookstores are carrying it too, which is so awesome. So if you have a favorite local indie, go in there and ask them, and then if they don't have it, maybe they will after this. But anywhere until April 1st when it is released.
Yes.
And I'm so excited. If you happen to live in L.A., I'm going to be at the Ripped Bodice on April 3rd. I'm so excited for that. We're doing at both of these events, we're doing a food-focused ACOTAR-themed trivia night with some mocktails from the book. And if you are in
Wow.
Seattle, I'll be there at Book Larder April 10th. And then I live in Portland, so we're doing something in Portland on April 1st, but details to come for that. So,
Oh
yeah.
my
That
gosh,
is-
how awesome.
Yeah.
Ellie, I think we need to make a trip to one of these locations
I
on
know.
these dates.
Do we dare
I'm so
brave
I
our
dare.
flying fear?
Oh yeah, we both hate flying, but it's fine. I will do it.
Well, I mean, I feel like everyone needs to make a pilgrimage to the Ripped Bodice at some point, whether it's New York or LA. So, you know, I'm
Yes.
really excited I'm finally making mine.
That's amazing.
I love
I'm
that.
so excited for you. I'm excited for me to get these
I'm excited
recipes
for me.
as
Selfishly,
well.
I'm excited for me. I want to eat all of this. I'm going to throw these parties. I cannot wait.
Yay, I'm
Yes.
so glad.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. I know our audience is going to just be eating this up as well. And so we really appreciate you giving us your story, all the tips and tricks, and telling us about this amazing cookbook that we all will be getting because we need it. It's not a want, it's a need, honestly.
It's a need.
Yay. Well, I can't wait to see what you make. And
Yes.
thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed our episode on chapters 13 through 18 and our interview with Chelsea Cole in a feast of Thorns and Roses. We're very excited for that to come out, and we look forward to our next episode. It's going to be chapters 19 through 24. So see you next week.
Bye, guys.